Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Quality Quant Questions. This week we'll be looking at questions of partnership, an oft neglected topic. Rarely do people practice questions from this, and understandably so, because the last time questions of stocks that came in any of the exams was early 2000s. Yet we'll briefly touch upon like 3-4 questions out of 20 would be based on stocks. Let's get to them. ABC enter into a partnership which earns them a profit of 9,000 at the end of the year. B had contributed 15,000 as capital. A and C share the profit in the ratio 1:2, and A earns 1,000 less than B. How much did A invest in the business? Now, for partnership, the two factors that you take care of, unless otherwise stated, the two basic factors that you take care of is the amount that is invested and the period for which investment is made. If there is no information, about period, or if there is no information about amount, whatever is not specifically mentioned, you have to take them as equal. So in this question particularly, we have not been given any information about the period for which the investments were made. So we have to assume A, B, C invested for an equal amount of period. Now with that, the ratio in which they have invested capital, let it be A is to B is to C. For B, we know it is 15,000. For A, let it be X. For C, let it be Y. But for X and Y, do we know X by Y as a fraction, A and C share the profit in the ratio 1:2. So let it not be X and Y, let it be X and 2X. Y will be equal to 2X from here. We have this sorted: X, 15,000 and 2X. Now, their profit is being shared in the ratio 1:2 and so on and so forth. This is like ratio of investments. And the ratio of profit that they have will be identical to the ratio of investment that they have. But we have been given separate information for it. Given the ratio of investment for A and C is 1:2, the ratio of their profit will also be 1:2. And we have been told A earns 1,000 less than B. If A earns 1,000 less than B, B earns 1,000 more than A. So B has gotten 5 plus 1,000. And the total profit that they have got is equivalent to 9,000. So we have 4Y plus 1,000 is equal to 9,000, or Y is equal to 2,000. So out of the total profit, A has gotten 2,000, B has gotten 3,000, and C has gotten 4,000. Or the ratio of their profit sharing is 2 is to 3 is to 4. Finally, what we have been asked is how much did A invest in the business? We are supposed to find out the value of X. Now see, profit sharing ratio of A and B is 2:3. So the investment ratio for A and B also has to be 2:3. So if 15,000 is 3 units, 2 units will be equivalent to 10,000. And that is the answer to this question. Next one now. A, B, C enter into a partnership. B leaves after 5 months. 2 months later, C leaves and D joins the business. How much should D get out of the profit of 14,500 at the end of the year? Now see here, contrary to the first question, here they have not told us about the amount invested by the partners. So you're supposed to take amount invested by all the partners is identical. If no specific information is given about amount invested or for the period for which investment has been made, you are supposed to take it equal for the partners. So here, A has invested his money. A has done nothing fancy. He was invested for the entirety of 12 months. B, he invested at the beginning, and then 5 months later, he leaves. So he invested his money for 5 months. 2 months later, C leaves. So C invested his capital for 7 months. Now see, 7 months have passed in the year. In a year, there are only 12 months. 7 months have passed. So D, out of 12, if he was not there for 7 months, D has invested his capital for 5 months only. And therefore, the period of investment that they have, it is in the ratio 12:5:7:5. Or this is also the ratio in which profit should be distributed among them. So what should be the share of D? It should be 5 by sum of all this. 12 plus 5 is 17, 17 plus 7 is 24, 24 plus 5 is 29. So 5 by 29 times of 14,500. Cancel, cancel, 500. 5 into 500 is 2,500, which will be the answer to this question. Next, A and B enter into a partnership with equal investments and agree that A is to receive 1/6 of the annual profit as his salary. Okay. See, even while reading, I did not call it 16.66%. I called it 1/6. By now, or with sufficient practice, you should be able to identify there are certain common fractions: 1/6, 1/8, 1/12, 1/15. These are such commonly used fractions that their percentage conversion should happen automatically. So we know whatever profit is there, 1/6 of that is going to go to A as salary. At the end of 8 months, A withdraws his capital but continues managing the business. If the profit at the end of the year is 24,000, what is the difference between the amount each person gets? Now, apart from salary, no investment information has been given, so we have to take them as identical. Now, A has invested his capital for 8 months and B has invested his capital for 12 months. So altogether, we would have the ratio of their profit sharing will be 2:3. The ratio of period for which they have invested is the same as the ratio of their profit sharing. So out of 24,000, see how the split would take place. First, we'll have A's salary. A's salary will be 1/6 of the annual profit. 1/6 of this is 4,000. Now, what is left for these two is 20,000. And this 20,000 will get distributed between A and B in the ratio 2:3. So A gets 8,000 and B gets 12,000. So how much overall did A get? A got 4,000 and 8,000. So 12,000. And B got 12,000. So what is the difference between the amount each person gets? The difference between their amounts is 0. Next question. A and B enter into a partnership and agree that a person is to receive rupees 1,400 per month as his salary for managing the affairs of the business. A manages the business for 8 months and B manages it for the remaining part of the year. Okay. So A's salary, right away I can figure out, A's salary is going to be 8 into 1,400, which is equal to 11,200. And B's salary is going to be, remainder of the year, 4 into 1,400 or 5,600. So how much money has already been used up? 16,800 rupees have already been used up as payment of salary. At the end of the year, the business gained rupees 24,000. So out of 24,000, 16,800 went away in salary payment. So the remaining profit is 7,200, 24,000 minus 16,800. If A and B had contributed 12,000 and 15,000 respectively as capital, so profit sharing for A and B is going to be in the ratio 4:5. So from the 7,200 that is left over, A will get 3,200, 4 by 9 of 7,200, and B will get 4,000. Okay. What is the difference between their shares of the profit? A's share of the profit, this is 3,200 that he's getting as a factor and 11,200 for managing. So his total share will be 11,200 plus 3,200, which adds up to 14,400. This is how much A will get. B will get 5,600 from his salary and 4,000 out of the remaining 7,200. So he gets 9,600. Now we need the difference between these two numbers. The difference between these two numbers is 4,800, and that is the difference between their shares of the profit. If you're a commerce student, here hopefully you see there is something that is not lining up with what we had studied in commerce. Profit was supposed to be the portion after taking care of all the expenses. And when you're giving out salary to people, they're supposed to be treated as expenses for your business. But when it comes to partnership for arithmetic purposes, for quant purposes, here even salary is treated as part of the profit. So please, in case such a doubt emerges in your brain, shut it down. For quant, the world is different. For commerce world, it is the conditions are different. Next, in a business, X puts 80,000 and Y puts 1,60,000. They receive equal parts at the end of the year, as X gets some percentage of profit to manage the business. Find the percentage of total profit that X gets for managing the business. See, let's say the total profit at the end of the year was 100 rupees. Now, out of this, the profit that X gets is going to be, let's say, A, and the profit that Y gets is going to be 2A on account of their capitals. This is X's salary. This is X's salary, but profit sharing between X and Y on account of their capital investment is going to be 1:2. But we are also told at the end of the year, they receive equal parts, which means however much Y receives is the same amount that X also receives. So X is also receiving A as salary. X is also receiving A as salary. Or this 4A is equivalent to 100. The total profit earned is equal to 4A. Y receives 2A. X also receives 2A. Or A is equal to 25. So X's salary is 25. X gets a share of 25 out of the remaining 75. Y gets 50. So when they're asking me, find the percentage of total profit that X gets for managing the business. Out of total profit of 100, X gets 25. So the percentage of total profit that he gets is 25 itself. Next, 3 students, A, B, C, hired a computer for a month. A runs 29 floppy disks for 19 days. B runs 21 for 17 days, and C runs 24 for 23 days. If at the end of the month, the rent amounts to 23,700. Hiring cost of a computer for 1 month is 23,700. It's very expensive. How much should C pay? Okay, you would also perhaps understand that this is a dated question on account of the usage of the term floppy disks. Floppy disks as a technology has not been used since my school days, and my school days was perhaps the time some of us were getting born. So this is very, very good. Yet, it doesn't really matter what this item is. See, when we're doing partition, usually the 2 factors we look at is the period of investment and the quantum of investment, how much money has been invested for what period. Here, instead of thinking of it as profit sharing will take place at the end, here, burden sharing will take place at the end. And how much burden should be placed upon the individual participants would depend on number of items that they have ran and for what duration they have ran it for. So for A, the burden sharing ratio will be dependent upon 27 into 19. This is 21 into 17. This is 24 into 23. At its very core, hopefully you realize this is nothing more than unitary method in play. If I have run X floppies and you have run Y floppies, who should pay more? Whoever has run more floppies. So the greater the number of floppies that you run, greater the burden that should be placed on you. I have run it for 5 days, you have run it for 7 days. Who should pay more? Somebody who's run it for 7 days. But then both of these factors don't have to be taken independently, they have to be taken in combination. And therefore you end up with numbers like this. Now 27 into 19 is 540 minus 27. So 530. And 21 into 17, 20 into 70, so 357. And 24 into 23, 576 minus 24, 552. The profit sharing ratio between the 3 of them is, or the burden sharing ratio between the 3 of them is going to be this. But what we need is how much should C pay? We only need C's share of the total payment. So first thing we do is we add up these numbers. 372 adds up to 2. 1 carried over, 551. We again get 2. 1 carried over, 55, 1422. We get 1422, whole thing, 552. This is the share of C of the total burden. The total burden is informed to us as 23700. Now, what we should be doing is simply saying, does 237 cancel off with 1422? So if I try to cancel it off. 237, I can't really see a prime number. But what I'll try to do is 1422 divided by 237. Now see, it has to be somewhere close to 6 times, less than 7 times, and somewhere close to 6 times. Why I'm saying 6 times is for two reasons. 200 into 6 is less than this, 1200, and 7 into 6 also gives me unit digit as 2. So let me just check with 6. 6 into 7 gets me 2. 6 into 3 gets me 18, plus 4 carryover, so 2 more carryover. Yes, this is excellent. 1422 will get cancelled. So this is, when this is divided by 237, I get 6. When this is divided by 237, I get 100. This is nice. Now 552 is divisible by 6, so I can get rid of it straight away. How much will I get? 9, 2, 92. So the burden that will be borne by C will be 9200. And that is the answer to this question. Next one now. In a partnership, A invests 1/6 of the capital for 1/6 of the time. B invests 1/3 of the capital for 1/3 of the time. And C, the rest of the capital for the whole time. Find A share in an annual profit of 4600. So see, one wonderful thing. The capital can be divided into 1/6 and 1/3. So we can happily take the total investment to be 6 rupees itself. LCM of 6 and 3. I'm taking total investment as 6. So A has invested 1 rupee. A has invested 1 rupee. B has invested 2 rupees. And C has invested 3 rupees. This much we know. Now, for time, the most general standard time notation that we know of is again 12 months. So you can take 12 months, or you can again take 6 months only. And again take 6 months only. I'm taking 12 months. Let the time be 12 months. So A has invested his money for 2 months. B has invested his money for 4 months. As C has invested his money for 12 months. So their profit sharing ratio will be 2:8:36. If I simplify it, it will be 1:4:18. So A's share in an annual profit of 4600 will be 1/23 into 4600. Cancel, cancel, get 200, which should be the answer to this question. Okay. Next, ABC enter into a partnership. A invests a sum of money at the beginning of the year, and B invests double the amount after 6 months. And C invests thrice the amount after 8 months. At the end of the year, they earn a profit of 12,000. Find B's share of the profit. Again, because their investment amounts is not told to us, we can take them to be convenient numbers. Let's say A invested 1 rupee for the entirety of 12 months. B invested 2 rupees for a period of 6 months only because he came in after 6 months. And C invested 3 rupees, and he came in after 8 months, so 4 months were left in the year. So the profit sharing ratio is 12:12:12, or 1:1:1. Everybody is getting equal share. So find B's share of the profit. B's share of the profit will happily be 1/3 of the total amount, 4,000 rupees. Next question. X and Y began a business with X as the capital provider to the tune of 24 lakhs and Y as the manager. They have a pact to share the profits in the ratio 3:1 in the favor of X up to a profit of 2 lakhs. All the profit in excess of 2 lakhs have to be shared equally by X and Y. If the profit is rupees 6 lakhs, what is Y sharing? Okay. For the 6 lakhs, break it down into 2 parts. For the first 2 lakhs, X and Y will get, X will get 3:1 के ratio में 1.5 lakhs here and 0.5 lakhs here. For the remaining 4 lakh, so that the total profit becomes 6, for the remaining 4 lakh, X will get half, which is 2 lakhs. 2 lakh, and Y will get also 2 lakhs. So overall share of Y is 2.5 lakhs, or option C, 2,50,000. Next question. A, B, C are partners. A receives 2/5 of the profits, and B and C receive the remainder, share the remainder equally. Okay. So let's say if the total profit was 10 rupees, if the total profit was 10 rupees, A will receive 4 rupees, B will receive 3 rupees, and C will receive 3 rupees. Why I've taken it as 10 is I know by 2, whatever is left over needs to be divided into half. So it has to be a multiple of 5, it has to be a multiple of 2, and therefore I've taken total profit was 10 rupees. Then this happens. A's income increased by rupees 88 when the profits rose from 8% to 10% of the capital. So find the capital invested. Now A's share is 2/5 of the total thing, or 4/10 of new profit is 10% of investment minus 8% of investment. This is the additional profit that is coming in that will be shared between A, B, and C. When the profits have risen from 8% to 10%, the additional profit that is coming in is 10% of investment minus 8% of investment. And out of this total profit, A's share is only 4/10 of it. 4/10 of 10% of investment minus 8% of investment is equal to 88 rupees. This is what is told to us. So 4/10 into 2% of investment, or 2/100 of investment, is equal to 88. So I can cancel off the 2, I can cancel off the 4, I can cancel off the 8 from this side, I get 11. Or the total investment is equal to 11,000. 11,000, or option A is the right answer. Next question. A and B enter into a partnership with equal capital. After 3 months, C joins them. 2 months later, B leaves them. B joins them again after 5 months. 1 month after this, A quits the partnership. If an annual profit of 17,550 were divided among them, was divided among them, what will be the share of B? So again, pay attention. We have not been given any information about capital investment of C. So what we have to assume for this question is A, B, C invested equal amount of capital. The amount that they have invested, each person has invested, is not a factor. The only factor we will consider is the period for which their investment is in play. Okay, so initially for the first 3 months, A and B were invested. A was invested for 3 months, B was invested for 3 months. After 3 months, C joins them. C has now joined them. And C does not do any stupid thing of coming in and leaving and coming in and leaving. He does nothing of this sort. So C, he comes in after 3 months and then he stays invested for 9 months. But B and C do fancy things. After C came in, 2 months later, B leaves them. So B was invested for 2 further months and then he leaves. This period, A was also invested for 2 further months. No problem at all. 1 month after this, A quits the partnership. 1 month more, after that, A quits the partnership. Now, for how many months was A invested? 6 months. For how many months? Oh, 1 minute. After 3 months, C joins them. 2 months later, B leaves them. B joins them again after 5 months. So for the first 5 months, B was invested. Then for the next 5 months, B was not invested. And he came back then. Then for the additional final 2 months, he was invested. I have made a mistake. Terrible mistake. Let me represent it this way. A, B, C. First month, second month, third month, fourth month. You don't have to write all this down. It is just that because I made a mistake, I am trying to improve the representation. See, A and B enter into a partnership with equal capital. So first month, A was there, B was there. Second month also, third month also. After the third month, C came in. So C was invested all the way up until this portion. Then I skipped over a line in reading, which makes it challenging. 2 months later, B leaves them. 2 months later of what? 2 months after C joined them. So for the next 2 months, B was invested. And then B goes away. B is not invested from the 6th month. In this period, nothing has been mentioned about A. So A was invested. Okay. So B joins them again after 5 months. So for 5 months, B is not around. But then he comes back and joins them. And in this period, nothing has been mentioned for A. So A remained invested. But after B joined, 1 month after that, A leaves. So he stays for the 11th month, but he is not there for the 12th month. So A remained invested for 11 months, B remained invested for 7 months, and C remains invested for 9 months. So the profit sharing ratio for A, B, and C will be 11:7:9. Now, if we are seeking share of C in the total profit, it has to be 7 by 27 into 17550. Okay. So I can cancel off 9s. This will turn to 3. This will turn to 17 gives me 1, 85 gives me 9, 45 gives me 5, 0. 3 will again get cancelled off and I will get 650. So 650 into 7 is what we are seeking now. So I will do 600 into 7 is 4200. 50 into 7 is 350. Or altogether, my answer will be 4550. Or option C is the right answer. This representation is not really needed. It is more language twisting that left me for dead. But then I corrected it. Hopefully you understood. Next one. Gangaram and Jamuna Prasad started a business with 35,000 and they respectively. After 1 year, Gangaram gets rupees 770 out of the total profits of rupees 1,320. Find the value of J. Okay. Fairly straightforward. Look at this. Gangaram received 770 out of 1320. So share of Gangaram out of total profit is 770 out of 1320. If I cancel 00 and cancel off 11s, I'll be left with 7 by 12. Now this total is composed of Gangaram and Jamuna Prasad. So if Gangaram is getting 7, Jamuna Prasad is getting 5. Or the profit sharing ratio between Gangaram and Jamuna Prasad is 7:5. The profit sharing ratio between Gangaram and Jamuna Prasad is 7:5. And this is entirely based on the capital that they've invested. So if the capital that they've invested is also in the ratio 7:5, J has to be equal to 5 by 7 of 35,000, which is indeed equal to 25,000. Or option D is the answer. Next, 3 partners altogether invested 1,14,000 in the business. At the end of year one, at the end of the year, one got 337.5. The second, rupees 1125.00, and the third, rupees 675 as profit. How much did C invest? Okay, it should also be changed. How much did the third partner invest? Question should be how much did the third partner invest? There is no ABC mentioned here. Anyway, so let's say the first partner, the second partner, and the third partner. We know one wonderful thing. We know the profit sharing ratio because the amounts of profit that they received is already given to us. So 337.5. I don't like watching numbers in decimals, so I will double this up. This will turn to 675. Because I have doubled up the first number, the second number will also double up. So 2250. And this number will also double up to give me 1350. Now, wonderful thing. I can cancel off 25 from everywhere. So this will turn to 27. 25 into 27. This will turn to 90. And if I cancel off 25 from here, this will turn to 54. Okay. Now, I can, of course, cancel off the 9. So this will turn to 3, this will turn to 10, and this will turn to 6. So the profit sharing ratio between the first, second, and the third partner is 3:10:6. Now this is solely on account of the capital that they've invested. So how much did the third partner invest? It has to be 6 by 19 of 1,14,000. Cancel, cancel. This will turn to 6,000, or overall get 36,000 as the answer. Okay. Next, Ganga and Gayatri start an enterprise by investing 24,000 and 36,000 respectively. Their agreement is to share half of the total profit equally and then share the remaining half in the ratio of their capitals. If they share the entire profit in the ratio of their capitals, Gayatri would have got 2,500 more than what she would have got otherwise. Gayatri had invested more. Okay. Gayatri would have got 2,500 more than what she would have got otherwise. What is the total profit? Here I will do a process called indexing. Let their total profit be 100 rupees. So 50 rupees gets split between, I'm calling Ganga A and Gayatri B. 50 rupees gets split between A and B. The first 50 gets split equally among them. The agreement is to share half of the profit equally. So they get 25 and 25. And the remaining 50 get shared among A and B in the ratio of 2:3. So he will get 20, he will get 30. So altogether, how much are they getting? Out of 100, right now, Ganga is getting 45 and Gayatri is getting 55. If the entire sharing had been in the ratio of their profits, Ganga would have gotten 2/5 of 100. Ganga would have gotten 40 and Gayatri would have gotten 60. Now pay attention to this line. If they share their entire profit in the ratio of their capitals, Gayatri would have received 2,500 more than what she would have otherwise. Here, Gayatri would have gained 5 rupees. In our storyline, Gayatri would have gained 5 rupees. But according to the question, Gayatri would have gained 2,500. In order to turn 5 into 2,500, we need to multiply it by 500. And in order to get comparable numbers, in order to get accurate numbers, you need to multiply every number that is involved here by 500. So Ganga would get 40 into 500 or 20,000 here. Gayatri would get 60 into 500 or 30,000 here. Ganga would have gotten 22,500 here. Gayatri would have gotten 27,500 here, 45 into 500, 55 into 500. Or the total profit that had to be shared was 100 into 500 or 50,000. This is what the question was eventually asking for anyway. So if you have, as in indexing is wherein you take a number, you solve according to the numbers that you have taken, and then if there is a larger number or a smaller number, see here according to them, Gayatri would have gotten 2,500 more. In our storyline, Gayatri would have gotten 5 more. So for 5 more, if I have to turn it to 2,500, I multiply it by 5. And then I multiply every other number also by 5 to get 2 accurate results. This is the process of indexing. Helps wonderfully when we are dealing with percentages and profit and loss and other arithmetic variables. Okay, now comes stocks. Some questions on stocks. Okay, Ismail invested 6%, invested in a 6% stock at 5% premium. Now, some terms that you should know. There is something known as face value of a share. Face value of a share is the price of the share mentioned in the share document. Then there is market value of the share. Market value, MV, is the price at which the share is currently being traded. You say premium, then market value is greater than face value. You say discount when face value is greater than market value. Now, whenever you engage in a financial activity, you do so with the expectation of some sort of return. When you lend some money to a person, you expect interest in return. When you engage in a principal agent relationship, you expect commission in return. When you all sorts of financial activities that you engage in, you expect some sort of financial return there. For investment in stocks, the return that you get is called a dividend. And how is dividend given? In the real world, dividend is given at a varying rate every year, depending upon the performance of the company and what are their expansion plans and how much are they looking to reward their shareholders. But in the quant world, we don't have this varying idea. We have a fixed rate of return mentioned. And that fixed rate of return is 6%. The line being, Ismail invest in a 6% stock at 5% premium means the stock gives 6% on face value to holders. 6% on face value to holders. And he bought it at a 5% premium. It means the value of market value, the number for market value is 5% higher than face value. There is one additional assumption involved. Unless otherwise stated, you are supposed to take face value as 100. For every stock, every share that you deal with, unless otherwise stated, you're supposed to take the face value as 100. Now see, these are very, very basic things. These are absolutely insanely basic things. But until you know them, these may seem like very foreign terms to you. In fact, in case you haven't studied it, wherever you're studying it from, I would recommend you go back and ask your teachers or the study material that you're referring to. They will have some chapters on this. Ideally, they should have some chapters on this. So do some 20-25 questions on this topic. It would be more than enough, but don't leave it, because let's say it makes a comeback this year and then you're absolutely unaware of these terms, it would become very, very sad. So please make sure you know about this topic. So now, with all the background work built up, see what this line means. Ismail invests in a 6% stock at 5% premium. So that stock, the face value of that stock is 100. The market value of that stock is 105. And the rate of return, dividend that is given to people who are holding the stock is 6%. Okay. He gets a dividend of 3,600 at the end of the year. Now say, how many stocks per share he'll get 6 rupees. 6% return on 100 is 6 rupees. So if he gets 3,600 as dividend would be dividend per share into number of shares. So 3,600 would be equal to 6 rupees into number of shares, or number of shares would be 600. Our Ismail fellow has bought 600 shares. Now, when you're buying shares, when you're investing in shares, you don't buy it at face value, you buy it at market value. When you buy it at market value, what was his investment? 600 into 105, which is equivalent to 63,000. Before anyone ends up misinterpreting face value and market value, face value does not mean cost price, the price at which it was issued. Face value is the value of the share mentioned in the share document. Market value is the price at which it is being traded. The market value can be greater than face value, and then the stock or the share is said to be trading at a premium. The market value could be lower than face value, and then it is said the share is trading at a discount. Or market value and face value can be equal, and then the term used would be the share is trading at par. This is not like the commerce world. Please make sure you studied it in the arithmetic context. Next, this time hopefully we'll be better attuned to what the question is demanding of us. A man invests half of the amount he has in 4% stock at 90 and the other half in 8% stock at 110. Now see what this line means. 4% stock at 90. It means this is the market value. This is the dividend rate on the stock. Similarly, 8% is the dividend rate on the second stock, and 110, this is the market value of the second stock. So let's say for stock 1, he invested X rupees, stock 1, and for stock 2, also he invested X rupees only. If he's invested X rupees, how many shares will he get? X by 90. This is the number of shares that he will get. Per share, how much will he make? 4% of face value. Because the face value has not been mentioned to us, he gets 4 rupees per share. The face value is to be taken as 100 and 4% return. This is the amount that he gets from stock 1, the number of shares into dividend per share. From stock 2, how much does he get? The investment was X. Number of shares he buys will be 110. And per share he will receive 8 rupees. Per share he will receive 8 rupees. And in the first setup, this is the amount of dividend that he earns. This is the total dividend that he earns. Now in the second case, what has happened? If he had invested the total amount in the 8% stock at 110. So now he's investing all the 2x rupees in stock 2 only. So how much dividend will he earn in this case? It will be 2x by 110 into 8. He would have made 3,500 more. So this 2x by 110 into 8 is 3,500 more than the number on the left hand side. So let's solve that equation. I will add 3,500 here. First thing we have to do is get rid of zeros from denominator everywhere. So we get rid of 0, rid of 0, get rid of 0, and I add a 0. Only then can I get rid of a 0. Okay. So now I have 35,000 plus 44 plus 72. So 2860. 116 by 99 is equal to 116x by 99 is equal to 16 by 11x. We have this. Okay. So we'll get 35,000 is equal to 99 more. So 144x minus 116x by 99. Because this is 99, I also try to turn this fraction with a denominator of 99. So I need to multiply the numerator also with 9. 11 into 9 gets me 99. 16 into 9 gets me 144. So I get 144 minus 16, or 28x by 99 is equal to 35,000. I can cancel it off with 7 first. I get 5,000. I can cancel it off with 4 now. I will get 1250. 1250, or x will be equal to 1250 into 99. Multiplying something by 99 is difficult. So what I do is 12500. First I multiply it by 100, then minus 1250. So you get 0, 5, 7, 4, no, sorry, not 4, 3, 2, and 1. X will be equal to 123,750. But what to do? This is not the answer because it is not present in the options. Pay attention. What we have figured out is the value that he invested in each stock. The question is asking how much did he invest? So we don't need the value of x, we need the value of 2x, which will be twice of this. Twice of this will get us to 247,500, or option B is the right answer here. Option B is the right answer. Okay. Next question, back to partnership. Gopal, Hari, and Karthik started a business with investment of 8,000, 12,000 and 16,000. Hari and Karthik left the business after X months. Out of the annual profit share, Gopal got more than Hari but less than Karthik. If X is an integer, find the ratio of Gopal, Hari's and Karthik's shares. Basically, their final profit sharing ratio. Let's see. See here, because ratio is what is being sought, we don't really care for the absolute amounts that they invested. We care for the ratio of amount that they invested. So see, Gopal, Hari, Karthik. Gopal invested 2 for the entire period of 12 months. Hari invested 3 for 12 minus X months. And Karthik invested 4 for 12 minus X months. So the profit sharing ratio has to be on these lines only. Now, out of the annual profit, Gopal got more than Hari. So 36 minus 3x is less than 24, or 3x has to be greater than 12, or x has to be greater than 4. This is because Hari's share is less than that of Gopal's. Okay. But Gopal got more than Hari, but less than Karthik. Which means Gopal is less than Karthik. 24 is less than 48 minus 4x. Or 4x is less than 24. Or x is less than 6. The number of months after which these people left is less than 6. If x is an integer, see, x is greater than 4, x is less than 6. So the only acceptable value of x is 5. X is 5. Find the ratio of Gopal, Hari's and Karthik share. This is definitely 24. Here, 3 into 12 minus 7. 3 into 7, we get 21. And here, 12 minus 5 into 7. So here we get 28. The final ratio that we get is 24 is to 21 is to 28, which is given in option B. Next, a man invests rupees 19,950 in a 4% stock at 5% premium. 4% is the dividend rate, 5% is the 105 is the market value, and the same amount in a 6% stock at 5% discount. What is the approximate effective yield percentage on his total investment? Okay, first let us figure out how much dividend did he get, and then I will tell you what yield means. This is another term related to stocks. So man invests 19,950 in a 4% stock at 5% premium. So how many shares did he buy? 19950 divided by 105. Investment by market value of a share, and per share he will get 4 rupees. Per share he will get 4 rupees. So can this be cancelled out? Let's see. Is this divisible by 7? I need to figure out. 2002 is divisible. This is 7 less than that. So yes, this is divisible by 7. So I will do this. 2, 59 gets me 8, 45 gets me 5, 0. Okay, 15 will also go. This will turn to 9, 190 into 4. So he got 760 rupees. He got 760 rupees from his first investment. From his second investment, see, 19,950, this is the amount that he invested. Additionally, he invested at 5% discount, which means the market value here will be 95. So the number of shares that he has is 19,950 by 95. And he gets 6% return here. So this is great. Everything is definitely divisible. So 210 into 6 is 1260. 1260. Now 760 and 1260. The total amount of money is 1900 plus 120. The total profit or the total dividend generated, by the investment that our friend has made is 2020. This is the total returns generated by this man. Now see, whenever you're making an investment, we know that the dividend rate is 4%. The dividend rate is 4%. But is that your rate of return? Not really. Because you don't see this dividend rate is mentioned on face value. But you don't buy shares at face value. You don't get your return on face value. The investment that you made is always at market value. So yield percentage is dividend amount by investment into 100. This is a special term for stocks, or you are more familiar with this as ROI, return on investment. How much money did you put in and how much did you get back in return? That is what is being tested by yield percentage. So he got back 2020 after investing how much? 19,950 into 2. This amount was invested by. So it will be 39,900, something along these lines. 39,900. Yes, 39,900. And now we need to multiply it by 100. Cancel, 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 cancel. Even when you look at this, can you see? If I reduce the denominator by, if I increase the denominator by 1 and reduce the numerator by 20, I will reach 2000 by 400, which is equal to 5. So this has to be very, very close to 5, 5 point something, something we will get. Slightly more than 5. Even if you want to do it precisely, it will turn out to be 1995. Sorry, 1995 plus 25 by 399. So we'll have 5 whole 25 by 399. This is the precise yield percentage. Given that the question asks me for approximate effective yield percentage, because the question asked me for approximate, I did not really need to do this precise calculation. Even getting to the idea that it has to be very close to 5 is good enough. Thereby, we can mark option C, 5% as the correct answer. Okay, next question. A and B start a business by investing rupees 3,000 and 5,000 respectively. After 3 months, C joins them by investing rupees 10,000. After 2 more months, A increases his stake by 4,000, while B reduces his stake by 1,000. How much should be given to C out of the annual profit of 7,245 in rupees? Okay, here we have the investments are also varying. The period is also not really precise, but let's see. A and B start a business by investing 3,000 and 5,000 respectively. After 3 months, C joins them. After 2 more months, A increases his stake. So for the first 5 months, he has invested 3,000. Now see, because finally we will need ratios, carrying these 3 zeros is actually unnecessary burden. So I'm saying for the first 5 months, he invested 3 rupees. And also B for the first 5 months invested 5 rupees. C came in after 3 months. So invested for 9 months and he invested 10 rupees. He invested 10 rupees. Now, after 5 months are done, A increases his stake by rupees 4,000. Previously, he was invested 3,000 rupees. Now he's increased his stake by 4,000. So now his investment is 7,000. And for how many months? For the remaining 7 months. For the first 5 months, he had invested 3,000. For the last 7 months, he has invested 7,000. And on the other hand, for the last 7 months, B has invested only 4,000. C does nothing of that sort. He is very nice. So their profit sharing ratio will be 64:53:90. Their profit sharing ratio will be 64:53:90. Now we need how much should be given to C out of the annual profit of 7,245. Okay. I have 90 divided by 60 and 50 is 110. 110 plus 90 is 200. 207. 207 into 7,245. This is the share that should be given. Now I see numerator denominator both divisible by 9. So therefore this becomes 23. Now that I have reached 23 in the denominator, I know it will get cancelled off. This will give me 3. So 34, 115. So 5, 315 into 10, or the correct answer for this question is option D, 3150. Okay. Last question. A and B enter into a partnership and agree that B will receive 20% of the annual profit as salary. Okay. After 6 months, C joins by investing rupees 10,000. It is also decided that C will now also manage the business and take 30% of the annual profit as his salary. Okay. At the end of the year, the ratio of invested capitals for A, B, C is 7:5:1. Okay. So this is good information for us, because investment wise, for C, we know he has invested 10,000. But now we also know B invested 50,000 and A invested 70,000. Additionally, now that we know the ratio of their invested capitals is 7:5:1, forget 70,000 and 50,000 and 10,000. Think of it as 7 rupees, 5 rupees, and 1 rupee. Additionally, A has invested it for a period of 12 months. B has invested it for a period of 12 months. C has invested it for a period of 6 months. So, 6 or 60 and 84, or if we simplify it, this will turn to 14, this will turn to 10, this will turn to 1. The profit sharing ratio at the end of the year for A, B, and C will be 14:10:1. Profit sharing ratio is 14:10:1. But this is not the entire work. The work that we need to take care of is their salaries also have to be removed first. Out of an annual profit of 20,000, how much should be given to C? I need a share of C, but prior to that, I have to also get rid of the profits, as in the salaries that are given to them. It is given the salaries for managing the business given above are for the whole year. If a partner works for lesser period, then the salaries are given proportionately, which means B was promised 20% of the annual profit and he worked for all 12 months. So he will get 20%. So B's salary will be 20% of 20,000, which is 1/5 of 20,000. So he gets 4,000 as salary. Now C's salary was promised to be 30%, 3/10. But he only worked for 6 months. He has not worked for the entire period of 12 months. He has only worked for 6 months, and we were given a condition. If a partner works for lesser period, then the salaries are to be given proportionately. So he gets half that period of 20,000, or he's given 3,000 as salary. So see, 7,000 rupees has already been given away as salaries. 7,000 rupees has already been given away as salaries. So this profit sharing ratio is used for how much amount? For 13,000. Out of a profit of 20,000, 13,000 is left to be distributed between A, B, and C. Given we need only share for C, we do 125 into 13,000. Cancel, cancel. We get 5 here. 50, we get 2 here. 25, this, we get 5 here. Okay. 50, we get 2 here. Get 0. So yes, 520 we get here. 520. So finally we are asked how much should be given to C. What should be given to C? Pay attention, how much should be given to C? He gets 3,000 as salary and 520 as his share of profit. 520 is 1/25. Yes. So the total amount that C gets will be 3,520, which should be the answer to this question. Hopefully we learned something. Hopefully we went through these questions. Stocks and shares might be a surprise for a few people. So you may not have seen it earlier. Please make sure you do cover it. that will be all for this week. Hopefully, this exercise, this initiative is helping you. That will be all. Have fun.